Today's video is about an MDMA experience that I had with someone who was battling their sexuality. The MDMA brought feelings to the surface that he just wasn't ready to face or confront yet, and what ensued was total chaos. He actually just had a complete psychotic breakdown. And I think this story is very important for a lot of people to hear because there's this consensus out there that MDMA is just this almost benign, just, happy-go-lucky substance that no matter how you're feeling, it's going to push you into a good, positive mood, and it's always going to be a fun experience, and this is just not the case. MDMA demands as much respect as any drug. This story also largely demonstrates that mixing alcohol with every drug in large quantities isn't always going to be the best course of action if you want to have a good time. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right into this story. Now, before we begin, like always, I need to let all of you guys watching know that I am no longer exploring these substances. The events in this story took place long, long ago, abroad, and in a parallel dimension. Anyway, the main characters in today's story are myself, my friend Alex, my friend Mike, and Mike's two friends, Tyler, Sam, and Sam's girlfriend, Vanessa. Prior to this evening, I had never met any of Mike's friends before. However, we did all have one thing in common. We were all intending to take MDMA and we were all going to hit a club. The first of Mike's friends to meet us at the hotel was Tyler. My first impressions of him were he looked like a really nice guy. I thought he was fun. However, as we started to get closer to drop time, he started to act more weird. He kept complaining that he wished he had a greater dose of MDMA to take. He kept saying that his dose wasn't going to be high enough. Now, all of us were taking MDMA from the same tested batch, and all of our doses were supposed to be 150 milligrams, which is already going into, in my opinion, the high end of the scale. But since Tyler kept complaining, he ended up raising his dose to, I think, anywhere from 180 to 190 milligrams, which, if you ask me, that's on the very high end of the scale. In fact, he still wasn't sure that this was going to be enough. I kept trying to reassure him that, yes, Tyler, this is a high dose. You are going to feel this. I even asked him if he took M often, and he said no. So it's not like tolerance was any kind of an issue. And let me tell you, these MDMA crystals that we were all taking, they looked deadly. We also tested it with Marquise, Mandolin, and Mac, and it passed all of those reagent tests with flying colors. Now, it was around this time that Sam and Sam's girlfriend Valerie showed up. It was also around this time that Tyler was getting increasingly frustrated with us that we weren't drinking with him. And to be honest, I didn't really see any harm in having one drink, so we all poured ourselves a drink and we all cheersed to a good night. Except Tyler wasn't on his first drink like the rest of us. I think Tyler was on his 6th or 7th drink. I tried to tell Tyler that you don't want to drink too much, especially if you're taking this kind of a dose of MDMA, but he just wasn't hearing me. I mean, I guess he'd rather make his own mistakes, which is exactly what happened. I have a really difficult time remembering the come up of this experience because it was just so intense. From what I recall, I spent a good 10 or so minutes in the toilet just shitting, and I came up as I shit. So I remember leaving the bathroom and everybody was pretty much flying at this time, and we all said we were going to get a cab. At this point, Tyler was fine. He didn't look like he was too messed up at all. I mean, not any more messed up than the rest of us were. And we got to the club. Now, there was a lineup. Even though we did have pre-bought tickets, we still had to wait in line. And this is when Tyler started acting really strange. I guess this would be when his repressed feelings of sexuality came out. As soon as we came out of the cab, Tyler just went and gave Mike a really big hug, which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with hugs, but this wasn't a normal hug. His hands were clamped tightly around Mike's buttocks. He was moaning. He was going, and this is where things started to go really south for Mr. Tyler. He's really losing his balance. He's stumbling around. I can still remember the sound that his head made as it smashed right into the solid concrete ground. Ugh, it didn't sound pleasant. There was other people in the lineup looking at him, and they were all just like, oh, is he okay? Like everybody, not just us, everyone around us was worried about him. So at that point, the bouncer, the doorman, came right over to us. He's like, guys, get your friend out of here. He's not coming in. I said to Mike that I would take his friend back to the hotel and watch him. But at the same time, I was not 100% in my own mind. So I told Mike that I would really appreciate it if he came back to the hotel with Tyler and I. And I said, look, let's just look after him for a bit. We'll go tuck him into bed, and then we can come back. So we found a cab. We dragged Tyler into the cab and we headed back to the hotel. So we held him up, and we had to, both of us, hold him and walk with him into the hotel room. He was not on this planet anymore. He was experiencing a full psychotic episode. He kept looking around confused, and he kept saying, my life, my life, my life, my life. Really? No. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Mike is furious. You have to understand, Mike's the one who really wanted to go to this rave. There was someone performing that he really wanted to see. All Mike wanted to do was get back, and he was just losing it. You can call this the love drug all you want, but even on a dose that was clearly affecting him a great deal, he was still able to scream at the top of his lungs and shout at his friend that he was fucking up his night, that he needs to get it together. He was getting really mad that Tyler wasn't speaking English. Tyler was, fuck you. He was just gibberish talking at Mike. And Mike screaming at him, saying, look, if you want my help, if you want me to be here and to help you, you have to speak to me like a human. I'm not going to put up with that. He's like, no, I'm not doing it. No, you talk to me like that? And then he just started screaming at him, like, how dare you talk to me like that? He was saying, we've been friends since grade 6, and you're talking to me like this. And I'm just sitting on the bed, watching this guy having a psychotic breakdown. No, fuck you! My life, my life, my life, my life. And then I'm watching my friend Mike just screaming at him at the top of his lungs. I said to Mike, listen, he's in his own world right now. He's probably not going to remember any of this. Talking to him and yelling at him and getting angry at him is not going to do the situation any good. And this is when Tyler really started to freak me out, to be totally honest. We kept telling him to lay on the bed because he's falling and he wants to stand up. And we're like, Tyler, just lay down. Lay down. Like, come on, give me your hand. Sit on the bed, lay down. But he was misinterpreting this as if one of us wanted to sleep with him. And he's like, no, gross. Ugh. He was like a big baby the way he was behaving. Oh, that's gross. Dude, you're falling. Can you just sit on the bed? Just go, if you don't want to lay down, just go sit down. He's like looking at the bed, looking at us like, ugh. I don't know why he was misinterpreting us, telling him to just sit down so he doesn't fall and break or hurt himself as anything sexual. I had managed to sober myself up enough to realize that Tyler was in his own world, having his own conversations with us, his own versions of us that weren't really us. Because when he finally said to Mike that, okay, I'll fuck with you, and he just kept saying it over and over again, it was kind of like that was his way of saying, I'm attracted to you. I would like to have sexual relations with you. It looked like he had finally just let down his boundaries for a bit and just, he was finally being open with the way he felt. He progressively started to just act more and more sexual. That's when Mike explained to me that these issues have been going on for a while, and he said that this wasn't necessarily the first time that something like this has happened. Mike was actually really upset that Tyler is just fighting with this. Mike was saying, like, why doesn't Tyler just be who he is? The guy was almost 30 and he's still hiding. I find this whole thing very sad. People don't choose what they're attracted to. You just are attracted to it. And I strongly believe that, we're all beautiful human beings, regardless of our sexual preference. That doesn't define us. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with you if you have a different sexual preference. But not everyone was raised that way. And some people are still very much, I guess, as they would say, in the closet, and they're just not comfortable coming out yet. Mixing those feelings with a very powerful entactogen such as MDMA caused for a devastating experience, not just for him, but for everyone. Not to mention he did sprinkle a little bit of alcohol on top, which definitely added to the psychotic mixture. Long story short, myself and Mike talked, and we decided that, well, he decided that he needed to send Tyler home. At this point, Mike was walking around trying to hail a cab, and I got him to sit. He's sitting beside me. What I could make out was he said to me, "Man, I just want to get fucked up." And I thought he meant I am fucked up. I'm like, yeah, Tyler, you're pretty fucked up, man. And he's like, no, I need to get more fucked up. What? I'm just like, no, Tyler, you don't need to get more fucked up. I don't think it's possible to be more fucked up. You're on a different planet than the rest of us right now. You can't go further than this. He's bobbing back and forth. He's just like, just need to get more fucked up. More fucked up. My friend called his brother. Thankfully, his brother answered the phone that late. And we told his brother that he was on his way home. Long story short, we made it back to this rave, which I was largely not enjoying because at this point, I personally was totally sober. Alex and Sam and his girlfriend Vanessa, they were all there and they were having a great time. They were all like, guys, where were you? We've been having a blast. Where did you go? At least they had fun. We went back to the hotel. We went to bed. And the next day, around 1 or 2 o'clock, Tyler calls Mike. He had absolutely no memory of how he got home. The very last thing he said he remembers was getting in the cab to the club. I was just really happy that he was okay, but we also found out that he lost his cell phone and his brother found his wallet in the middle of the road. I feel like I need to say a moral of the story at this point. Moral of the story. If you have some repressed feelings, whether they be sexual related or whatever they are, and you're intending to take a drug like MDMA and entactogen, which can act like a truth serum and it can force you to face your own issues, and, well, it usually allows you to accept them better, just don't go into that experience unprepared and don't mix these very powerful substances in high doses with alcohol. It's not going to end well. This is actually a good story, because no one ended up hurting themselves like severely or dying. People have died from dehydration, from overheating in clubs, from drinking too much and taking M. This is a reason why it's dangerous. Anyway, that concludes this story. I hope you guys all enjoyed this story. If you enjoy my channel, be sure you hit that subscribe button and hit this little notification bell thing that I guess tells you when I've made new videos. This is actually the first time I've ever told people to hit the notification bell, but apparently it helps. Big shout out to everyone who's supporting me on Patreon. You guys are the reason that I'm able to even run this channel. I'm fully funded by you guys. If you want to check out Patreon, follow the link somewhere here. You guys are all amazing, and I appreciate everyone who goes out of their way to keep this channel alive. Till next time, take care, guys. I have some extremely exciting videos in the works. I know I've said this before, but one of the videos I'm working on is pretty unique, and it's something that it's a class of compounds I guess I've never really talked about before, and it's a pretty cool video, so I can't wait to release that. Till next time, stay safe, always test your substances, and I will see you all later.